Hi-ho, this is Septi, and today we're talking about the return of the evil zoo-series predator, the unholy martyr degenerate, one of the most hated individuals on the platform, Hypnotist Sappho.
I am a zoophile. You did not mishear that.
FBI, open up!
Before we talk about recent events, let's have a recap of who this absolute mongrel of a human being is. It was the year of 2021, seemingly another quiet day on YouTube. Then a video titled "Coming Out About Things" went viral in a matter of days. In it, a self-proclaimed hypnotherapist VR chat YouTuber known by many names, most commonly referred to as Hypnotist Sappho or Valerie, revealed the disturbing truth about herself.
And I want to clear the air and say that, for the record, I am a zoophile. You did not mishear that. I am a zoophile. I do not have a thing for humans. I am more attracted to dogs like German shepherds. If you are willing to stay and listen to my view and explanation, that is the point of this video. It is to show that there are ethical guidelines. It's not so black and white like many furries think that it is, and a full explanation as to the way that I think and the way that others think and why. Zoophilia is often very misunderstood, especially because of certain very terrible people and what you may have seen in the news. And someone that I will not mention, if you remember that situation with the zoo sadism leaks a few years back. Unfortunately, when people think of zoophiles, especially furries, that's the person that comes to mind. That is the situation that comes to mind. And I'm talking about horrible abuses. And I'm not accusing a certain individual of anything here, but those leaks showed some truly horrendous people doing awful things to puppies, dead animals, animal gore, and other atrocities that I really wish would have been prosecuted, but unfortunately most could not, either by legal technicalities or so on. And it's a really sore thing for me because I would have liked to have seen justice in that case.
When the video was first uploaded, people were in shock. Some people were very skeptical on the sincerity of it all. Why would anyone expose themselves like that on their own free will? It wasn't until we started digging deeper that revealed this was merely the tip of the iceberg in the history of Sappho. She was already a very ostracized individual within the furry community for a number of reasons. A lot of this information was compiled on the Kiwi Farms forums and it's still available to this day. The most unsettling facts about Valerie surpassed everyone's already low expectations from this individual. The idea that she was merely a troll that caused an outrage for attention quickly faded as images of her continuous degenerate behavior emerged. This included, but not limited to, her inappropriate engagement with a 16-year-old minor. She would invite him to VR chat, upon which they can engage in a bizarre phenomenon known as phantom touch. She would also share imagery of her modeling anatomically correct knots for her VR avatar with the aforementioned minor, which at this point meant Sappho was distributing pornography to children.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
After a certain time, the minor in question started to realize how wrong all of this is, and word started spreading quickly in Sappho's community. She would make her own server dedicated to bestiality enthusiasts and sharing feral NSFW imagery. One of her former moderators confronted her about this and asked if she was a zoophile. Dodging the question, she replied with being a mere sympathizer and expressed support towards the S.T.A.L.K.E.R podcast, which was a disturbing podcast channel dedicated to a group of zoophiles gathering together to talk about their disgusting thoughts and experiences with sexualizing animals and portraying it as a misunderstood harmless outlet. Understandably so, this led to Ramat cutting ties with Sappho and gathering evidence that would expose her degenerate behavior. In response, Sappho would proceed to make the video outing herself as a zoophile, as well as attempting to normalize her sickening fetish via linking it to the LGBTQ and its discriminatory history before it was accepted and considered normal by the public. After this video went viral and everyone was talking about her, she would make a second video announcing that she formed her own cult of degenerates who will fight for validation until the end of time, as well as a video mocking the haters.
Hypnotist Sappho
Dog fucker
has joined your lobby.
In the announcement, she declared herself as the chairman of the Zoo Sexual Rights of North America, as well as announcing a collaboration with the S.T.A.L.K.E.R podcast to form their sectarian movement.
I wanted to make a major announcement today, so you might have seen on Twitter or somewhere else that I was going to be making a pretty major announcement, and that is 100% accurate, so I want to preface this by saying that I am working with a large group of people, between 17 and 20 active members of the zoosexual community, and that includes writers, artists, intellectuals, and pretty much everybody that you would need to start an organization from the ground up. And that includes leaders from the community like Lycan, who hosts Zoo Community, and Mike, who is pretty well known in the community. I know that most of y'all won't know who the hell Mike is, but Mike, also a very important leader in this community, and I'm very happy that we have them on board. We also have multiple members of the Zooier Than Thou podcast that are on board, like Toggle and Sigma and some other people. And that's just kind of how I want to preface this, but anyway, why the hell am I talking about having this group of people and how it's a good building block for an organization, right? So I am very happy and proud to announce that I am the chairman of the first zoosexual rights organization in the United States.
Another disturbing detail about this announcement was the fact Sappho denied actually owning a dog herself, which was soon disproven by the faint panting noises heard in the background.
Cloudflare and all kinds of crazy settings, like, it would be very, very tough to try taking us down, essentially. But
the cult was short-lived at the time, due to its mismanagement and infights. The group disbanded, and Hypnotist Sappho was soon forgotten by many people. Throughout her short-lived infamy, she's become known as a manipulative, predatory, zoophilic, degenerate psychopath in the public eye. It is currently unknown if she was ever convicted or investigated through her lifespan, given her many disgusting and borderline illegal activities. But one thing was certain. People were hoping she would get some help and become a normal person someday, or disappear never to be seen again. Unfortunately, we were not so lucky. One year later, and zero lessons learned, Sappho started gaining public acknowledgement again after revamping her failed cult manipulating minors into believing they were fellow zoophiles, lying about one of her underage grooming victims ending their own life to guilt-trip people, and overall the exact same disgusting behavior as a year beforehand. She attempted to escape the backlash by faking her own death while being active on an alt account during August. Valerie would claim to be her own partner to announce what happened to her. Hello everyone reading this. This is Valerie's partner. I'm sorry to say this, but Saturday morning she killed herself. No information will be held in the public for safety issues for her family and loved ones. I'm sorry to anyone that was close to her. Please do not contact this account. She faked the suicide of a minor before, so why should we suddenly believe her? Don't call that poser a poor victim. Imagine hating kiwi farms so much that you step up for Sappho. Imagine believing that she did not kill herself. There is no reason or concrete proof to believe otherwise. She was yet another misunderstood victim of kiwi farms. To validate kiwi farms' words is beyond grotesque, especially given all that has happened in the past few days. Given by the fact she used the exact same tactic and wording when she faked the suicide of a minor, people did not believe her for a second. Valerie tried to use the absence of evidence to disprove the skepticism surrounding her claim, despite the fact she herself provided nothing to validate her lie.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
What?
Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
What?
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
What?
Sometime later, she would get banned on Twitter and people could breathe easily for the time being. Unfortunately, she would regain access to her account and return using a different name. The account of Valerie Sappho. Thank you for freeing me, Elon Musk. Fuck antis, Zeramu, Profik, Proship, Career Degenerate, make me a martyr, love you all. It's very reassuring to know that the Elon Musk takeover is the reason we have people like Sappho on the loose. So much for the positive changes. Sappho's cult is still open to the public, directly linked under her Twitter. It lists this website known as Zeiss with the following invitation. Welcome to our friendly cult. The name is Zeiss, and it stems from the word chaos. This instance is all about care, love, and pedophile support to all of our Fedi friends. Wait a minute, what does that mean? Paraphilia, the condition characterized by abnormal sexual desires, typically involving extreme or dangerous activities. Most of what will be posted here will be artwork, not safe for work, stories, etc. All account registrations must be manually approved. A working email is not a strict requirement. So, what I can take from this, Sappho is just repeating the exact same thing for the umpteenth time, expecting things to be different.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy.
Despite trying to come across as overconfident and daring, Sappho deletes a lot of her tweets on the same day she posted them, knowing people will use it against her, rightfully so, since just like her attempt at reforming her cult, continuing to preach what she's doing is acceptable in any way, she's currently being outed for grooming a 14-year-old boy while she is 22 years old.
What the fuck? No!
Despite her initial denial stating she doesn't have a thing for humans, she has a track record of sexting with minors and openly exposing herself as a map before her Twitter deletion. These are some of the tweets I managed to archive. Apparently I'm worse than the Joker. Again, you can report all you want, but nothing illegal is going on. I have a right to exist, no matter how much it makes you cry. Also, it's not sexual, you're only helping us in the end by bringing awareness. I hate to break it to you, Valerie, but you are worse than the Joker, because at least we can take solace from the fact he's merely a figment of imagination. Meanwhile, you are the sickening reality that can and are causing harm to actual children. You should not have access to the internet as a whole, let alone prey on minors just because you can't get laid in the real world. Hey y'all! Yes, the Discord server finally got clapped as it was inevitable. Boo-hoo, alright, who cares? This is why I have size.love registration set up, and registrations are open right now. The Matrix server is also up at sappho.love. We will prevail. With any luck, we can get her site banned as well, because despite the site claiming to be an 18+ server, Sappho has a history of inviting minors to her depraved degenerate circles, in case her currently grooming a 14-year-old slipped your mind. Some of her cult members commented on her post responding to a call-out video by Sensitive Society. This person is living in an echo chamber full of yes men, as if his subscriber count totally isn't made up of children that aren't gonna immediately go Sappho bad at the mere mention of you. It is almost as if the antis are proud of showing off their blatant ignorance and bigotry. I don't know about you, but I think having to explain it to people why it's wrong that you want to fuck dogs kinda forbids your rights to call other people ignorant. I'm really about the least evil as it gets with people of my affliction. The fact you attempt to silence me and my speech is telling. The most rational and free-thinking among us are a prejudiced minority. I am falsely accused of evils daily. Destroy me and make me a martyr. Actually, they're not calling you evil, Sappho. They're saying you're fucked in the head, which is an objective fact, given how you see nothing wrong with trying to seduce children and forming a cult to lust over animals. Yes, I use Gentoo Linux and have a massive dick. Also, love you, size. Dear God, somebody stop you. By the way, dating isn't illegal. Cry harder and send all the reports you want. There's a reason I'm not in prison and have not been investigated. And people say America is great. If you really feel the need to make more reports and pray to your non-existent god, Big Bad Sappho is smited. Yeah, I have no idea why Sappho isn't behind bars or at the very least restricted from using the internet. Here's hoping that happens someday. Now, look at this disingenuous lunatic reaction to Lanza calling her out. Everyone feel free to report this tweet for harassment. Hypnotist Sappho out there still dating kids. You hate to see it. Imagine sending your entire fanbase to harass a minor like an absolute scumbag. You are truly a sack of shit and deserve everything bad that happens to you, Lanza.
Yeah, that's what you sound like, a little bitch.
Hey Lanza, you supposedly care about minors. Why would you send harassment to one? Or are you displaying how really you're a massive hypocritical sack of shit? Sad. I don't know if you noticed, but whenever someone with actual influence calls out Valerie, her blood pressure is just skyrocketing from anger and starts accusing people of hurting the actual victim while cursing them out, even trying to encourage her cult to falsely report them to silence people, which is against Twitter's guidelines by the way, hence why she deleted it. When people don't know the law, but think their feelings make something they don't like illegal, and they are legitimately surprised I'm not in prison because of their absolute lack of understanding of the law, logic, and reason. Biggest seat and cope fest ever. Big Bad Sappho. You were seating so hard you faked your own side to get away from backlash. What are you on about? Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't make the claim that you died from monkeypox due to intercoursing with animals. People would have actually believed that, knowing how much of a sick you are.
I can see your search history. What the fuck?
Your anti-zoo and anti-map organization is fine, although there are some things to consider. A group being based on anti-anything almost always fails, especially when the hateful people eventually infiltrate. The other is that you can't really fight against an identity.
I just have one thing to say about what I just saw right there. What the fuck?
So, TLDR, Sappho is back. She hasn't changed at all. In fact, she's gotten worse. I highly advise you to archive anything she says that can be used against her and spread awareness. Report her socials and her dedicated zoo cult website, and do everything it takes to get the minor away from this lunatic before it's too late. I think I speak for everyone when I say nobody with a sane mind wanted Sappho to come back. But here we are anyway because 2022 sucks. But anyway, if you made it this far in the video and your subscription button is still red, I advise you to change that if you would like to see more content from me in the future. What do you think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, I shall continue to make more videos whenever I get the chance, but until then, I'm Sappy, and goodbye.